Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about this one. I'm just going to be sharing my experience owning a Shiba Inu. I'm going to be sharing you my experiences, my thoughts, whether or not a Shiba Inu fits into your family or fits into your lifestyle. They are pretty high maintenance dogs, I would say. They definitely require a lot of work. They are very high spirited, they're very strong, bold. I have a whole bunch of notes and stuff that I'm just going to be going over just so that you can get an idea of what it's like for me to own a Shiba, and then hopefully based off of that you can decide whether or not a Shiba might be best for you. But then again, I'm going to be talking about my own experiences. You should take it into consideration, but with a grain of salt, because all dogs are different. Kitsy, hey, no chew. That girl. Is that what you want to talk about first? Her bad behavior, that's what she would like to talk about first. Her name is Kitsune. We wanted to name her a Japanese name because her breed is from Japan. So Kitsune means fox. Very fitting. It looks like a fox. We get that all the time when I'm taking her on walks. People ask like, oh, is she a fox? Like, she looks just like a fox. And I'm like, yeah, she does. I don't really see it too much. It's just the color, I think, resembles a fox a lot. And she just looks very wild with the ears and the facial structure. She was a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. It took a lot of my time with her, and I'm blessed and fortunate to be able to spend a lot of time with her, raise her, and I think do a pretty good job. A lot of people do note that Shibas look like foxes, and they're like, they're so cute, they look like little foxes. That is the kind of dog I want. And if you're going into it thinking that, there's a lot more that goes into owning a puppy or a dog than just the way that they look. And yes, I do like the way that she looked. I knew that I wanted this breed, but not specifically for those reasons. Like, I knew that it was going to be a lot of work and time, and that is personally what I wanted to spend my time and invest a lot of my energy into, is raising a puppy, specifically a Shiba. I pretty much saw an ad for her, and I went and I got her like that day just because I was so excited. But you really should know what you're getting into. I work at a vet hospital too, so I'm around a bunch of different dogs, and I have been around a few different Shibas, and I really liked them. So that's a little bit of a backstory on her. She does have a very strong, very bold personality, super intelligent, and she knows it, and very stubborn. Anyone who owns a Shiba will outright tell you how stubborn they are and how much energy they have. It's insane. Which is funny because I have a lab mix. We think that she's a lab beagle mix, but we weren't sure. She's a rescue, and she is totally different from Kitsune. We call her a grandma dog because all she does all day is sleep. Unless you motivate her to go for a walk, she is sleeping. This is grandma dog. She was made for like an old person. You can see they love to play. That's what you get for living next to a busy road. But anyway, Shibas are very intelligent dogs. Training her was like instant. She picked up so quickly on commands. I was blown away. She knew, like, the next day I was trying to train her. I trained her a little bit each day, and I would do things like, sit and show like a hand movement and raise my hand up, and she would sit. It was insane. She could just listen to me and instantly know. At 2.5 months, she was picking up on these commands. So she knows a bunch of different tricks and stuff, but these are the ones that I taught her from a very young age, and I'm just gonna go over them. She knows sit, she knows spin, she knows high five, she knows paw, and then she'll put her paw down, and I'll say other paw, and she'll give me her other paw. She knows leave it or drop it, which is very important for a Shiba because if they have a hold of something that you don't want them to have and you're trying to chase them, they will run around with that thing and you will not be getting that back anytime soon. Whatever item it is, like a shoe or something, she will take that shoe and she will run around the whole house until you are exhausted, and then maybe she'll drop that shoe. She knows lay down, she knows door, so if I say door, she'll put her paws on the door. She knows roll over and speak. Speak was, that one took, I think, the most amount of time, but the other one she picked up instantly. Enjoy whatever is going on back here. They're just playing. Potty training her was a little bit difficult but easy at the same time. Shibas are generally really clean dogs and don't like to go to the bathroom where they're sleeping or in their house necessarily. Training her, like the first few nights in her crate, she didn't go to the bathroom. What she would do though is when she did have to go, she would cry a little bit. And so as a puppy, she let me know like when she would have to go to the bathroom, she would whine because she didn't want to go to the bathroom in her kennel at 2.5 months. She understood this. So whenever she would cry in the middle of the night, every 2 hours or whatever it is, I would take her out. She would pee outside, come back in. Fast forward, as she's getting older, she had more of an issue going number 2 outside. She would not poop outside. Our yard is a little bit smaller, so I think what happened is she realized like this is her territory, this is her outside like playtime, and this is her house. So I think she kind of linked the two together, and she was like, I don't want to poop, you know, where I also play in the grass. At least that's what I thought. I'm not really sure, but she stopped like pooping in the yard. She needed to go on walks, which is fine. We live in a neighborhood where I can easily just take her around so that she can go to the bathroom. But it was definitely weird to see her kind of regress as she got older, because we would take her out and she wouldn't poop. We just thought like, oh, she's just not ready to poop. Bring her back in, and she would get really excited, start running around, and this is also kind of our fault. She would actually poop in a secluded area. Our dining room is kind of like off to the side, so I think she would go in there and poop on the carpet, and we would see that, get mad, and tell her, you know, you need to go potty outside. What really helped was using treats too. She's very food motivated, so when she would go to the bathroom outside, we would give her a treat and say, good girl, and we would praise her for that. I hope that's not too annoying. I'm very fortunate for where I work. I work at a vet hospital and we do doggy daycare, so I am allowed to bring her in and she can have that socialization with other dogs and with other people. So from a very young age, she was outside playing with other dogs, getting to know them, getting to know what other dogs liked, what other dogs didn't like, which I think is very important for Shiba, because if you don't socialize them, they do get very territorial and they will kind of be standoffish to strangers. So another thing to note about a Shiba is they are very stubborn and they will do things almost to like make you upset. Like they know how to get under your skin, and you absolutely do not let them get their way. If they are doing something that you don't want, like if they are chewing your shoes or grabbing something, you need to discipline them almost immediately. She was a tiny puppy. We tried to do this at a very young age. She was going after my shoes. So instead, I would tell her no and be very stern, be very strict, because they will take advantage. If you're like, no, like don't chew my shoe, they're gonna take advantage of that. So you need to tell them no, and you need to be serious, and then reinforce something positive. Like give her a chew toy. She loves like little Nylabones or something like that. Give her something else for her to chew, or like some sort of stuffed toy instead, and kind of keep reinforcing that, like, no, we don't chew shoes, but you can chew your toy. That's very important. That's something we definitely had to teach her, because I love my shoes. Your girl loves her shoes. Shibas are very fast and they have a lot of energy. They are super hyper. They want to just zoom around your house. They will literally run in circles all around your house. If you don't exercise them enough, they'll go crazy. They will chew anything. They will get into trouble. They know how to get into trouble and get under your skin, so they're going to be doing that all day long if you do not exercise this dog. It's so important to take this dog for a walk at least once a day or even twice a day. So they kind of have this attitude where they do whatever they want, and which is kind of funny because that's kind of my attitude too, so I understand. All right, let's talk a little bit about grooming. So for the first year that I had her, she didn't shed that much, and she was still growing in her fur. She's getting rid of her puppy fur and growing in her adult fur, so she didn't shed too much. And what's great about Shibas are they are generally pretty clean, so we didn't have to bathe her too much. She wasn't playing in the mud, she wasn't getting too dirty. She really doesn't even like to go outside when it's raining. She honestly doesn't like to get too dirty. So with that being said, you do have to brush your Shiba, I think, quite a bit, at least like once or twice a week would help so much with her shedding and the fur just piling up into the corners of the room and stuff like that. I would probably brush her a little bit more frequently than you would another dog. Like Roxy, she doesn't shed that much, but Kitsy, on the other hand, sheds a ton. I do take her into my car a lot. Her fur sticks to my clothes or the seats in my car, which are black, so her fur sticks out a lot. So what I do is I put like seat coverings on, and then like once a week or once every 2 weeks I'll take them off and wash them and get all the fur and stuff off, shake them out or whatever, put it back on, and it's good to go. Or else you're gonna spend hours vacuuming your car. So we don't have to bathe her too much. Brushing, you definitely have to do. Also, their fur kind of repels dirt. So when you're brushing them, it's almost like cleaning them too. Because it's repelling the dirt, and when you're brushing them, all that stuff just kind of comes off, which is nice, fairly nice. With that being said, I know a few people have issues with bathing their Shibas. This thing where they have a Shiba scream, and it's ear curling. Like it is so loud, and unlike any other dog I've ever heard, when they are screaming, it is unbearable. And some Shibas hate when you give them a bath. They're very cat-like. Their personality and their attitude is very resemblant of a cat. So when you give them a bath, a lot of them tend to have a negative feeling towards it. But also nail trims are really difficult for a lot of people. When I got her, I knew that that was going to be a problem, or that could be a problem, so I almost gave her nail trim like every week or every 2 weeks just to get her used to it. But yeah, she is great with nail trims and baths. She does get a little scared for both, but it's manageable. She's not screaming at me or anything like that. Another thing that I wanted to touch base on is crate training. If a Shiba unattended, they will most likely chew something, get into something. They're very mischievous. They get bored easily. They're very curious dogs, so they will most definitely get into trouble. So crate training them is so important, and I recommend doing this from a young age so that they don't have any bad feelings towards a crate. We do have a big kennel downstairs. It's for a large dog. We keep it nice and dark for her so she can sleep and stuff in it. She's very calm. She never freaks out in it. She's not crying unless she has to go to the bathroom. Sometimes if we leave for a long time, that's where she has to be. And I know it kind of sounds terrible, but we're not leaving her there all day. We don't want her in there for very long. This is just for a few hours or something like that. Just so that she doesn't get into any trouble or chew anything that she's not supposed to chew. It's really for their safety. If they chew something and end up getting an obstruction or a blockage in their intestines, it could be devastating and cost a ton for surgery to remove whatever they ate. So it's really for their own safety. Toys are such a must-have for a Shiba. They love to chew, they love to play. Some of her favorite toys include a tennis ball or a chew toy like a nylabone or something like that, one of those antlers, something where she can chew, because they love to chew. So that's very important to have. Or like even a rope toy, something to play tug of war with. She loves to play fetch. That's one of her favorite things. She'll bring the ball over, you just throw it. Sometimes I'll just play in the house with her. She loves it. She loves chasing things. So another thing that I want to talk about, which is probably a hot topic, is escaping. Shibas are very intelligent and will try to escape a yard, like a fenced in area or something, if you give them that opportunity. So she has escaped a few times on us and has gotten out of the yard, which is terrifying because I live in an area where it's kind of high traffic in certain parts. So it's a high traffic area, and a Shiba escaping doesn't necessarily understand the dangers of a road and the cars. So what we ended up having to do, because she escaped a few times and it was terrifying each time she's run out to a busy road. One time she stopped traffic completely, absolutely terrifying. So what we ended up doing is buying a shock collar off of Amazon. I'll link it below. So it has a shock feature, a vibrate feature, and also a sound feature. Rarely have to use the shock feature, and I don't want to say or like rely on that also because I don't like it necessarily, but she knows that it is there because we've had to use it before. Pretty much if she's doing something that she's not supposed to do, and she only wears it when she's outside. I would never keep it on her inside because I'm not trying to control her inside. I just want her to stay safe while she is outside playing around. So my parents, when we take her to their yard, they have a chain link fence, and she has been able to slip right under the fence because there's not a bar there underneath. She could just go right under and then out, and then she's booking it. She's running and she is not looking back. She has done that a few times, which is terrifying. And when you chase her, she just runs farther. She will run, stop, look back, make sure you're still chasing her, and continue to book it. So having that collar just kind of helps her understand that she needs to stay with you. We've done off-leash training with it too, so that she knows, hi baby, hi, so that she knows the different steps. So if she's doing something that she's not supposed to do, or if she's too far away from you, use the sound. And they say, Kitsy, come here, or whatever your dog's name is, and have them come to you. And then if she doesn't respond to the sound, then you take it up a notch and go to the vibration, which normally stops her right in her tracks. And she knows that after that, it could potentially be a shock. Sounds terrible, but honestly, it's for their safety. And there have been so many close calls that I just don't want anything to happen to her. And I just feel that it is necessary for my dog specifically. And it's helped me quite a bit, especially off-leash training her, so she knows to respond to my calls. I do keep a harness on her, and on the harness we just have her microchip information, a tag that explains like who she is, my number. She is microchipped, so if she does get lost or something and somebody takes her to a vet, they can scan it and have my information. She also has like her rabies and her license. So yeah, when she goes on walks, we have a retractable leash just for our yard so that she can kind of do whatever she wants on her own terms and, you know, sniff around. But when we're taking her for an actual walk at like a dog park or around the neighborhood or something like that, we do have like a shorter leash so that she stays by you. She does tend to pull. She doesn't do it as much anymore, but as a puppy she definitely did. Only thing that she has a hard time listening to is when there's a biker around or people around. She loves people though. So she's barking and wanting attention, not barking aggressively towards them. So when she sees somebody, she gets really excited and she's very vocal about it. But when she sees a biker, it's totally different. I don't know where this behavior came from, but even like if she's in the car with me, she does not like bikers. She will growl at them. She will bark aggressively towards them. I don't know what it is. I don't know where she developed that from. Originally, she was afraid and would kind of cower, but now she's like, I want to eat them for lunch and dinner. It's been a little bit difficult trying to get her to regroup. Normally, when we do see a biker, we try to sit her down, tell her no when she is growling and barking at them, but still it's almost like it's very difficult to control her when there's a biker around. So that's kind of weird. But most Shibas I know are territorial. They are a little standoffish with strangers. She's not like that. She loves people. She comes off a little strong because she gets very excited, but she loves to play and she loves other dogs, which is not the usual, I think, for Shiba. She's not a very cuddly dog. She definitely can be. As she's getting older, she definitely does like to snuggle up next to you. We do allow her to sleep on her bed at night. She doesn't get into too much trouble at night, which we're really fortunate. So she will sleep on her bed with Roxy, with me, and my boyfriend. So she kind of likes to curl up next to you. She either likes to lay at the base of the bed by your feet, or she will be right next to you, like leaning up against you, which is exactly how Roxy is too. Pick her up and force her to cuddle with you, she's not going to like that. She's going to try everything she can to escape and run somewhere else. But if you let her, she will definitely cuddle up next to you. I do have a cat too, and she does really well with him, but she grew up with him, and I think that helps a lot. She does like to play with him too and chase him and stuff. So they get along really well. All right, so that is my experience owning a Shiba Inu. Yeah, if you have any other questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. But yeah, what you should learn from this is Shibas are super cute, high maintenance, and probably require an experienced dog owner, definitely. Very high energy, but at the end of the day, they are very loyal and loving. She loves to listen to me too. She's always like cocking her head like, what'd you say? So that's my experience owning a Shiba. I hope you like this video, and thanks so much for watching. Okay, bye YouTube. Would you own a Shiba? Just so freaking cute. She just loves listening to me too. Right, Kitsy? Do you want to go for a car ride?